Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video I'm going to show you how to do an inspection on your back brakes there. So even though I'm going to work on my back brakes, I like to put my front brakes up on the front of the car up on jack stands to help prevent rolling. See, your back brakes, when you have good working back brakes, they'll act as chock. So I got my handbrake applied so the car's not going to roll on the back wheels. The front wheels, really, you can't really apply the brakes when the car's not running and you're not in the car. You could put it like in gear, but there's still a potential of a slow roll. So I haven't put the stands on yet, but I just wanted to show you. Here's the lift points. Got these little lips. There's one in the front. Down there is one identical to it. So all you do is you take your jack stand and you just position it so that it'll be, on that lift point there. Also be aware when you put your car down, your car will kind of, like, as I lower this, it'll kind of make the car appear to move forward. So you always want to have it towards the front of it, so as it goes down, it'll line up more, not too far in front. And I'll show you what that looks like. Also show you what the lift point looks like in the front. So here you go. Just in case you don't know, I'll show you after I get the jack up. It's off-centered, and you can't really see it because the jack's pushing up on it. There's like a little spot right there. I'll take the jack out so you can see it. Anyways, that's where your lift point is. So I'm just going to lower it down, and then I'll get the jack out of the way so you can see what I'm talking about there. So here you can see this spot right here is where your lift point is on the Honda Civic there. And I like to keep the jack actually engaged and in place, just in case something happened. So somebody had to bail me out, at least the front jack would hopefully be ready to go. Something to think about if you're working by yourself. You don't want to get pinned under your own car. Actually, it's a good idea to have your cell phone with you too, in case something did go bad and you're still alive down there. You could probably call 911 and get you bailed out. But this is why I like, especially when I'm working by myself. Now we got the front end on the jack stands, and the brakes back there, you can see they're acting like chocks if you don't have any chocks. And if your brakes are in good working order, they'll actually act as good chocks. So I just set this, but I gotta undo it because I gotta go back there and we'll jack up the back of the car next. Okay, here we are on the back of the car. There's like a tow hook right there, and that's your lift point. There you go, right there. You just put your jack under there, and then you can't quite see it, but your jack stands are going to go in a similar spot back here. So all I'm going to do is lift up the car, get those back jack stands in place. So what I'm talking about now is, as I lift the car, because the front's jacked up on those stands, it'll tend not to want to roll around on you, which is a lot safer. Okay, now we got the back. Same deal as the front. It's got these little tabs for your lift points. So just have the car supported and the jack back there in position. So somebody came over, maybe they could help me out real quick. Just helps them get out. So a lot of times it's good to take these lug nuts off while the car's on the ground. I don't think I'm going to have any trouble with it. And being the back brakes, with the brakes on, they'll kind of grip it for you, so you can cheat that way. If you have an impact gun, that's the reason why a lot of times people just lift their cars first, because they have an impact gun. Impact gun will take these off and not put a lot of torque on the wheels. So that's something to keep in mind, just like if you're changing a tire. If you're doing it all by leverage, when you turn these bolts, these nuts, it'll have a tendency to want to turn the whole tire. And if you're having issues with that, you'd want to loosen these up on the ground. Mine being said, I don't think I can have an issue with these. Also, if you have a center hub, I'm not going to pop mine off, but these come off. Anyway, so next thing I'm going to do is grab a wrench and take those nuts off there. Yeah, I figured I'd give you a quick tech tip. So this is just your 3/8 ratchet setup. I believe that's a 19mm. But I always keep a cheater bar in my toolbox. It's really handy. It goes on like that, and then you just put it on here, and then if I need leverage, I just swing it out, and it gives me a lot of leverage. This really helps out a lot. So it's always good to hang on to an old piece of pipe. So it's just about the same size as your ratchet there, and that'll give you just enough leverage to bust most stuff loose. Anyway, so I got these loose, and then just going to use a cordless setup and take those bolts off, or nuts off there. Alright, next I'm going to just take a dead blow hammer, just give it a tap. I've already gone inside the cab and released the parking brake. The shoes pressed on the outside of this. And my brakes probably aren't on tight, but it never helps to kind of go through and just give it a tap. You can see stuff, I don't know if you can or not, but just kind of tap it up. And then you're just going to have to work with it. It usually doesn't come off that easy. But yeah. Usually doesn't come off that easy, but that's how I got it. So next all you're going to do is just look in here. You want to kind of look at your brake shoes. See how much material I have. Here's a good example. Let me get a zoom in on this. So at the top, look how much material I got at the top there. And as you go around, it's getting thinner, 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 and that's pretty thin there. So it's time for some new brake pads. And you can kind of tell, same with the back here. Let's see. The back's probably reversed. It's a little bit thicker probably on the bottom. And as they go up, it's a little thinner on top. Also, I'm looking in this general area, looking for any leaks, fluid leaks. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably just, again, the purpose of this video is just to show you how to inspect this stuff and kind of what I'm looking at. And that's the bulk of it there. Also, your drums are so inexpensive now. You almost, these drums actually look in pretty good shape. You could just take them in with you, and they should be able to check them out at a parts store, see what they think on that. If you're going to put new brake pads, though, it's almost, might as well put new brake drums in. And if nothing else, you'd want to turn them, and it's almost the same price to turn them as it is to buy new ones. I'll see how much that costs, but that's just something to keep in mind. Oftentimes turning them is almost the same price, maybe a few bucks more, and you get brand new ones, and you don't really have to worry about it. Anyhow, so after doing this, you'd want to do the same thing on the other side. If you're going to change brake pads on one side, probably should just do it on both sides, and they usually come in sets like that anyways. All the hardware, you just want to make sure nothing's falling apart. And here all your springs are connected. And hub, might as well check the hub, feels pretty good. So that's about all there is to looking at one of these things. Then you just button it all up together, go to the parts store and pick up a parts kit. Probably when I do this one, I was checking out the Honda shoes. I gotta see how they price them, if you get the full set or if it's by shoe. But they didn't look too expensive for OEM ones, so I'm gonna check the price out on that. And then these springs look pretty good. The springs aren't too expensive, so I might get new springs too. But anyways, that's about it. If you have any questions, the purpose of this video is just to show you how you get that wheel off, get at those brakes, and to put it together is the reverse process. You want to make sure your parking brake's off, and you just put it all back together just like you saw me taking it apart here. Anyways, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching.